Hello everybody, Paul Morsid here. I'm going to talk you through my smart working manifesto. As discussed in previous videos in this series, I've been working from home for 15 months now, since the pandemic began. And it's been really good for me, but when we consider the needs of all the different types of workers, it's clear to me that the office is coming back. Yep, this was the conclusion of the previous video. And there are key reasons why this will happen, such as the need to train and collaborate, the need to lead, the need to socialise and overcome inadequate home working environments, as well as the human nature angle, where the risk of poor pay rises and/or redundancies is higher from home. However, smart working represents something of a prisoner's dilemma. If individual teams choose how to achieve smart working, then the ultimate outcome will be worse than if we centrally organise things. This is because of all the complex interactions required between all the different teams and the danger of hot desking, seat booking systems making time in the office more stressful and less productive than it could be. So I'll come up with a holistic, generalised solution which avoids these issues and delivers maximum benefits from time spent working both at home and in the office. If we join in the debate now, then we can ensure that smart working comes to bear in a way that works for everyone. So in this video, I lay out my vision, and I'd love to read in the comments below what you think about this, as well as what you would propose as a solution. So this slide visually sums up how I experienced working in the office in the first video in this series, and how I think many people might experience it if we just come back ad hoc without fully thinking about how to optimise the benefits of the office. We know commuting is a time and cost sink, so when we go in and find an empty office or an office filled with people we don't know, and we quickly think the day was wasted. If we let everyone individually choose when to go in, then we minimise the chance of making connections, of leading, collaborating, or training. I'm going to talk through my Back to the Office manifesto, which aims to maximise these benefits instead, and makes it much more worthwhile paying the commuting costs. Let's start with the principles we need for smart working. Principle 1, we need to go into the office. Not necessarily full time, although for some, yes. And some people may not need to go in at all, but on average, we will be back in the office. Principle 2, people need to sit in their teams, and people like to have a regular desk. Let's make this attractive to human nature. I remember once I went on a 2-day training course and wanted to change seats on the second day, just to meet some new people. Now there was no seating plan when I was first in, so I just sat in a new seat. However, every new person who came into that room had a verbal, visceral reaction to my act of terror before sitting in their seat from the first day. Even the course instructor was looking on in horror at my revolt. Eventually, everyone had sat down, bar the one person who had sat in the seat I was now occupying. That person stood passively aggressively next to me until I gave in to a collective sigh of relief from the whole room and returned to my seat. So let's make it easy for people. Give them their seat, which they can sit in whenever they come in. Remove hot desking and seat booking systems from the equation as much as possible, so there's no stress for people on the way in or anything which makes going to the office uncertain or less pleasant. Principle 3, we need to get out of our teams. I realised when I went into the office, there were friends and acquaintances who I used to bump into and chat with, and yet I hadn't spoken to for 15 months. This is one of the things which makes the office a nice place to be. And there are studies now which show that we narrow our business circle whilst working from home. There are also myriad business reasons why I want to have face-to-face meetings and ad hoc chats with people from outside my direct team when I'm in the office. There may be reasons why I might need to sit next to someone from another team at times, or spend a chunk of my day collaborating with a group of different people. So my manifesto must allow for a large number of people to be able to mingle. Principle 4, working from home is efficient and works well for lots of tasks, so we don't want to be in the office every day. There's also huge cost saving to companies and individuals from working from home and reducing office footprints. So we need a balance between office and home working, i.e. smart working is here to stay. Lastly, principle 5, sometimes we all need to get together into big groups. Town halls are often needed for big events such as mergers and acquisitions, results announcements, or changes in senior leadership. So these need to be catered for too. At first sight, you might think they'll have some mutually exclusive statements here. We want a regular desk, but yet office space will be cut. We will need to get together, but the office won't be able to hold all of us. We want to sit together, but we need to interact and sometimes sit with other teams too. I think my manifesto covers all these needs, and to bring it to life, I'll consider a fictional company with 84 employees, equally split into 14 teams of 6. The company wants to have office space, 48 only, so around 60% capacity, and to hit the 5 principles I put forward. What I'll be proposing can be generalised and applied in any situation, but it's helpful to have something tangible to illustrate my points. So here's their office. It's got 48 desks, some unused space in the middle for meeting rooms and lifts and toilets and kitchens, etc. We've got 84 employees and 14 teams illustrated down there at the bottom. We'll also keep an eye on a single employee, Bob. Any fans of the classic British comedy would know that Bob could be either a boy's or a girl's name, so I've deliberately chosen it to avoid any gender bias. So here's my manifesto of how to make smart working optimal for everyone. To achieve the principles, I propose that everyone, obviously bar permanent home and office workers, goes into the office on 2 set days each week. Each person sits at their fixed desk, so no need for desk booking on those days, and no stress of scrambling for a hot desk either. The days each team comes in are fixed and known from the start, so people in each team can plan their caring and other home-based responsibilities around this. I'll explain a bit more shortly how we decide which teams come in when. Next, everyone works 2 or 3 days from home. This enables all the efficiencies to arise, less commute time, smaller offices, better flexibility, but doesn't enforce isolation on people who want to get in and socialise or get away from less than perfect working from home environments. These are averages too, so some people may want to come in every day, and this could be accommodated by balancing against some permanent home workers. Then people can choose to come in 1 additional day per week or not. This would be for targeted collaboration with other teams, for training, onboarding of new joiners, or for more ad hoc team building and strategizing types. These tests would be bookable 2 weeks in advance using a seat booking system to enable people to plan ahead. We do need a seat booking system here, unfortunately, to avoid the stress of coming in without knowing space would be available. We do want this to be targeted office use, so the 2-week threshold ensures that it's not just 3 set days by stealth. We'll allocate about a third of the office space to this need, and obviously 2/3 to the set day. To free up a little extra space in the office and to allow for emergencies, we would have a process to unlock spaces in fixed zones for people on holiday or sick or travelling for business. These would be released just 24 hours in advance to ensure there's always a bit of space if people urgently need to meet up the next day to deal with an important issue. Also, by having people peppered around other teams, this would help with mixing teams up for ad hoc collaboration. And lastly, I think it would be an enormous amount of dead space to have large meeting rooms available for whole team meetups, so it's much more efficient to just hire outside space when necessary for these events. Perhaps even there's a market opportunity here to transform some central city office space into such meeting venues. This will save companies lots of rent, but obviously it will also cost a lot to rent such a big space. However, there should still be overall savings, as well as allowing for such meetings to be held in specialist venues that optimise the events that need to happen there. Okay, let's step through each of these parts of the manifesto in more detail. So, before the plan's decided, the senior leaders of the business need to come together to decide which teams need to collaborate together and which don't. This is to ensure that the correct teams come into the office together and that no space is wasted putting teams together that have little or no benefit from doing so. Teams and individuals can then plan their meetings so they fall on days which optimise who's in and who's out of the office that day. Over time, this will become embedded and again maximise the benefit of being in or out of the office. 2 days should be sufficient time for teams to come together, to be led and to train and collaborate together. And should also allow sufficient time overlapping with other necessary teams to enable interaction and collaborations to occur beyond each team. As noted before, we'll also unlock some of these fixed seats at 24 hours notice. This maximises space and further gets people out of their team bubbles. Obviously, we need to have a tidy desk policy with people storing things in lockers near the desk under this system. So visually, this means we know the right people will be in when we go in, our team will go in when we do, as well as others we are connected to. We have a fixed desk sitting next to fixed people in our team. We can get our personal and care items out of our lockers and we're good to go in a familiar environment as soon as we get in. Junior workers in our teams get the support and training they need to develop their skills and careers, whilst we also get to maximise team spirit and leading by all being in together at times. Let's see how this looks in our example. You can see I've split the office into 8 zones of 6 desks. and then allocated either 1 or 2 teams to each zone. In this example, Bob, as part of Team 1, will always sit in the top left zone. They'll get seat 1, so know exactly where to go and who they'll be sitting next to when they're in the office. Team 1 will not want to collaborate with Team 8, as they won't ever all be in the office together, but they will want to collaborate regularly with teams near them, such as 3, 9 and 10. Let's show how the scheduling would work. So we've got the days of the week down the left and each of our 8 zones along the top. We can see that Team 1 goes into the office on Monday and Tuesday, while Team 8 goes into the office on Wednesday and Thursday, leaving this zone available on Fridays for desk booking. There have already been some surveys about which days people want to come into the office, saying that Monday and Friday are less popular days. However, you get no office space saving if you try to squeeze everyone into the office on Tuesday through Thursday. So we need to use the office every day to meet our principles. I've highlighted in colours the 5 bubbles where 2 teams share the same working days. For example, teams 3 and 4 in green. And this would be for teams that really need to work closely together, or of course for larger teams. But each team sees the majority of the other teams too at some point in each week. So with a little planning, they can collaborate with pretty much everyone when needed. Looking at Bob in Team 1, they clearly need to collaborate a lot with people in Team 9, as they're both in on Mondays and Tuesdays. But they also get to see 8 out of the other 12 teams during the week. So there'll be plenty of opportunities to collaborate and build relationships with most of the office. There are 4 teams they won't interact with automatically, but Bob can see them by coming in on Wednesday, Thursday or Friday using the desk booking system. So everyone is available, even for teams who Bob interacts with less often. Next, 2 days a week, everyone works from home. Again, cross-subsidising exceptions for permanent home and office workers. This way, we get to keep our efficiencies and not losing time for the commute and being able to work relatively undisturbed in a relatively quiet environment. Companies also get to downsize their offices and so save costs too. People have got used to virtual meetings and the individual Zoom presence works so much better than the tacked-on hybrid virtual meeting you get when some people are together in a room and others are joining virtually. So we want to maintain those. And of course, we can continue to do one-to-one engagement virtually. As noted before, teams will be able to schedule their meetings around when people are in and out of the office. And team members will also be able to have fixed home days, so they can again schedule their caring and home responsibilities far in advance, which is certainty. Bob can know that collecting kids from school on a Wednesday through Friday is going to be fine, for example, and make special arrangements if he needs to go into the office for a bonus day. Okay, let's look at this visually. Although the fact that I could not find a good picture of working from home suggests how difficult it is in practice to do so optimally. There are mobility advantages of working from home as on the left. People can visit family or go on holiday and still work from home, subject to privacy and good environment. Though I would say that sitting on a couch or a laptop is not a good setup, even without considering poor posture. The setup on the right is more my vision, where you have the double screens, keyboard, mouse, proper chair and desk. However, you'll notice a small person on the worker's lap, which is clearly a problem. So this picture on the right minus a child is what we need. Although on the plus side for the child, they should see that parent or carer more now, as they are spending less time commuting. The third plank of the manifesto is the flexibility to come into the office 1 additional day per week. This enables targeted collaboration, either additionally with people already sitting in the office, for example, team members or from teams someone regularly works with and hence goes into the office with, or perhaps an ad hoc meetup with someone from a team you don't go into the office with automatically. Again, I would strongly note that training may be an important driver for coming into the office. Bob may have a new person working with them. It's just so much easier and efficient to train someone face to face, and also to let that person work next to you whilst you keep an eye on them and help course correct them through the day. One virtual solution to keeping an eye on new people would require a permanent screen share whilst working virtually, but that just sounds creepy, so it's never going to catch on. As this is targeted and not easily foreseeable collaboration, we naturally don't want to hold desks with certain people, so the dreaded desk booking system is required here. And to ensure optimal use, we don't want to allow bookings weeks in advance. I think 2 weeks in advance is about right. This will lead us to having excellent collaboration zones in the office, where people from many different teams come together in a spirit of working together, sparking those ideas and team spirit, which hot desking promised, but due to human nature never delivered. It did deliver additional stress and noisy environments though. Talking of which, there might be benefits to some soundproofing screens in offices. particularly around areas which have the most collaboration going on. For Bob's office, I would expect zones 3 and 4 from Tuesday to Thursday to be a great collaboration zone. Remember that Bob is in zone 1 on Tuesdays, which are butts on zone 3. So they would appreciate some reduction in noise coming from that direction on that day by soundproofing barriers. Visually, I think it will look like this. Lots of people engaging together, making connections and building relationships, going into meeting rooms to talk through and develop ideas, training one-to-one and visiting other teams to work together to get those deliverables done on time. To be fair, this is probably the kind of visual sell that the hot desking people gave. So I hope you don't look back in 5 years and hate me in the same way most office workers look back at that. I guess it might not have been so bad if someone hadn't invented those headsets where you speak out to the floor, disturbing everyone around you, rather than into a phone which muffles your voice. Next, we come to unused fixed seats being released to the booking system 24 hours in advance. There will always be people on holiday or traveling for business or some other reason who won't use their fixed desk, so we want to have a system to release them. This might be via a direct connection to the holiday booking system, PA support, or personal responsibility. What this achieves is the ability for work emergencies, and I put that in quotes since hopefully there's never such a thing, but there will be times when people have to come together unplanned. So this system will allow that those last-minute meetings and collaborations or training sessions can still happen under this system. It's likely that there won't be blocks of desks opened up like this, so we need to ensure meeting rooms and collaboration spaces exist so people can benefit from working in close proximity. Otherwise, they may as well have stayed at home. And by peppering people into other teams, this will help with creating opportunities for spontaneous team mixing and hence collaboration and relationship building. Again, this is the kind of visuals I'm thinking this plank in the manifesto will create. So targeted working together in person to deal with emergencies, and also people making new connections by being put into the middle of a new team for the day. Final part of my manifesto is that we should not hold back valuable office space for big meeting rooms. If everyone needs to come together, then we should head offsite to a tailored external venue. It will mean a big variable expense increase if we hire somewhere external, but given the larger reduction in fixed expenses, this will still be an overall financial benefit. Actually, the cost challenge of having such meetings will be really helpful in ensuring that such meetings are only held in person for real value-adding big meetings, such as planning, strategy days, or possibly essential training required for everyone, as well as announcing big news stories where care is needed over messaging and post-message support, such as a takeover or redundancy program. The advantage of a specialist venue is it will be tailor-made for the big meeting required. So a big auditorium for receiving big news, whereas planning strategy meetings might require lots of round tables and breakout rooms. So this will actually help with maximising team mixing, leading, training, and all collaboration as appropriate, while also saving costs and giving us the right space at the right time. Visually, there are lots of ways that this can look. A big celebratory announcement, focused training, or everyone just sitting down being told the big news. We've all been in big, important meetings which end up as a waste of our time. So hopefully the variable cost challenge will really help to avoid the likelihood of low value big meetings too. So that's my smart working manifesto. I think it maximises the benefits of both working from home and the office. It ensures that training, collaboration and leading happen optimally. It saves costs for the company and its employees. And every now and then we get to go to a big fancy offsite meeting with great facilities. The key thing is that this isn't something which any one team in an organisation can achieve. Hopefully you now agree with me that it's a prisoner's dilemma. If we let each team do what's in their best interest, then the ultimate outcome for all teams will be worse than if we centrally organise smart working. We'll end up with permanent seat booking systems and noisy hot desking environments. We'll end up sitting in random desks away from our teams and the people we need to collaborate with. This would put us all off the office, but we work from home more than is optimal for training, leading and collaborating, which means we'll have issues developing, retaining and attracting our junior staff members. We'll have issues influencing the top brass and thus get worse pay rises and job security. Instead, we need to think about things holistically to ensure that everyone wins. I'd love to hear your views on my manifesto in the comments below. What do you think works and doesn't? What would you propose instead? Are you already smart working efficiently? Join in the conversation, let us know. We need to all do this together to get it right. So, thanks for watching this video. I hope you found my smart working manifesto inspiring. and are now going to think more holistically about how we should do this and join in the debate now before it's too late. So if you like this video, please do hit the like button, and why not subscribe to let me know this content was useful to you. It will also ensure you don't miss any similar content and also support my channel. Thank you and goodbye.